guys, welcome to a different kind of details video, one where I show you the baby as I'm putting the baby together. So yeah, since I have actually done two typical Loulou detail videos already on my channel, I thought it would be fun to do sort of a disassembled one. So I thought it would be cool to show you the process and a little bit about how I particularly weight and the materials that I use. So of course you want the cloth body, the limbs. I've got some glass beads here, as well as a funnel. I like to use a little funnel, little nail scissors. These are imperative. Pantyhose. These are the toe pantyhose ones. They're not full pantyhose. And some other glass beads, which I get from McPherson Crafts. So, and again, of course, the cloth body that she comes with, and then the kit, who is all magnetized now and all sealed. She's got her little magnet on her, and she's magnetized for a hair bow too. I'm going to show you guys the inside of her head. So all her hair has sealed and dried. She has been magnetized as well. That's where her hair bow is. She has another magnet behind her lips. And yeah, her hair is just so stunning. She has her pacifier. So cute. And the bow right there is where I'm pointing to it, where she's actually magnetized inside. So here's a little bow. I don't think it's the color of the one that she's going to go home with, but there it is, and that's where she's magnetized to. I also want to show you guys the magnets that I actually work with. These are the earth magnets. They are super strong. They are 10 millimeter by 3 millimeter. If you're interested in them, I custom order them off of Etsy. They are really heavy duty and strong. I use the 10 millimeter by 1 millimeter for the actual pacifier itself, and they are so strong, you literally I can't even separate them. They're so hard to separate. So if you are going to use these, I really recommend exercising caution. You can pinch your skin really easily with them, and also you should be really mindful of where you store them because they are not safe around children either. But yeah, the two magnets that you've already seen inside are the 3 millimeter by 10 millimeter ones, and they are super strong, and they are just the best magnets ever. So before I actually put her together, I want to take you guys through and show you guys all the details on every one of her limbs and her face as well. So here's her first leg. She's got an adorable little newborn scratch, her gorgeous little feeties. Show you guys her beautiful nails. I have said it before that the Loulou kit is one of my absolute favorite kits of all time, and I have one more in the queue after this one. Both this Loulou and my next Loulou are both going to returning clients of mine. This one is going to Amy. Thank you so much for thinking of me again. She has my Ellis by Olga Auer from so many years ago. She has that kit, or that baby I should say. So it's such an honor to make her another baby. And I just love the limbs on this kit. So here's the next leg. You can see all of her beautiful mottling and veining, especially the veining on the foot is showing up so well in this video as well. It's kind of fun to play with the angle and do a different angle for the details video for once, because I usually shoot them all the same way. So I thought it would be really fun to just shake things up a little like this. And you can see the texturing as well, really well. Her blushing and her creasing and all of her beautiful undertones. And her other arm, or I should say her first arm. I love this baby's arms, and I love her little hands, and I can't wait to show you guys her nails. Hopefully it'll focus for me. Seriously, her nails. So she has the little crescent moon nails. She has not yet been glossed. I will be doing that after she is assembled. That is the way I like to usually do it. And the other two nails. And all her little creasing and blushing on the fingertips. Joanna Kazmierczak just sculpted the most beautiful kit with so many beautiful details. I'm not sick of painting her at all. it was so hard to secure the fourth one. I actually pre-ordered 2 and I sold them both. So I ordered a third one, and literally like as I was starting that one, I had one of my returning clients from so many years ago, over 5 years ago actually. She has my Robin. She actually recently just bought Kiara on eBay. Kristen, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. And I could not get a kit. Like, I did not realize that Loulou was going to sell it so fast. But thankfully, one of the members of my course actually had one, and she wanted a custom from me. So we ended up including another kit in that custom. So she sold her to me. So I am so grateful to have had a fourth. But unfortunately, I am not going to be able to reborn this face ever again after the next time, which is really sad because I love her face so much. So now I want to show you guys all her beautiful details on her face. So these are her gorgeous lips. I mean, this kit has just the most spectacular lips ever. Such a joy as an artist to paint. She also has beautiful capillaries over her eyelids, rooted lashes, beautiful textured painted eyebrows, her gorgeous capillaries in her little ear. I'm going to move the camera so that you can see the rest of her beautiful hair. She is mono-rooted, which means one hair per head, or rather per hole. And she is, as I mentioned, magnetized for a hair bow as well. All directionally rooted and styled. And I really wanted her to have sort of barely there, like newborn, so newborny hair. I love this little wave at the front of her head. It is so pretty. I think she is just so spectacularly adorable. Oh, if I could have a keeper baby, she would be it. And I just noticed there was a little hair on her, so I'm just removing that. I love to take a look at my kits as I'm putting them together under a light to actually just remove any additional little hairs or fluffies that happen to be on her before she gets assembled. So now I just grab my little funnel and I like to put that inside the leg. It helps make sure that I don't spill any extra glass or anything. And then I'm going to show you guys where I usually fill up to the point of. I'm going to give it a little tap to make sure all the glass goes all the way in to where it's supposed to. Okay, so there is about to where I like to fill it to, just a little bit above the knee, and then that allows me to have enough polyfill to fill and make sure that none of the glass and stuff spills. So this is the kind of polyfill that I like to use. It is super soft and just like super fun and nice to work with, and it feels amazing inside the body as well. And I just like to stuff until it's basically really compacted and so none of the glass will leak through. You don't actually need to use those the limb cover like clippy things. That's one of the things that I quickly learned is not necessary. As long as you've actually packed the glass in correctly and you actually are using polyfill and putting it in to block it, none of the glass will actually leak from the limbs, so you don't need those little covers. And then I just tighten it with my little cable ties. And I like to cut those at the end, which I'll show you guys as well. And then I move on to the next leg. And this is a little bit of a finer glass bead for the limbs. It actually is a good little cost saver as well. I buy my blasting glass from Princess Auto in case you're in Canada and looking for a glass vendor. And then I use the larger beads from McPherson Crafts because they're a little bit pricier, and then it just keeps your costs a little bit lower as well, and it's the same quality glass. But I do not recommend using this smaller grain of glass in the body or the head or anything like that, just in the limbs. And again, I'm stuffing really well and making sure that it is well compressed in the limb. It is so much fun to actually put this baby together on camera, and show you guys a little peek and insight into the process, the reborning process. And I teach all of this actually in my Reborn doll course as well, which is the, in case you're new to my channel, it is reborn-a-to-z-course.com. So now I just tie the cable tie really tight. Eek, she's so cute already. And this is the body that Loulou came with, by Joanna Kazmierczak. And now I'm filling the arms. Oop, I accidentally put a little too much glass in. I'm gonna have to dump some of that out, I think. Oh, just tapping it to make sure that the glass goes evenly down. Oh, no, I can actually fill a little bit more. It was just not going into the hand. Now I have too much glass in, so I have to dump a little bit out until I like where it's sitting at, still a little bit more. So I want to fill just to about above the elbow, right where you see I'm pinching. And then that way I've got enough area that I can fill a lot of polyfill in and make it really leak proof. It's a little harder with this kind of polyfill because it's not as clumpy. It's very soft and like it's almost baby soft. I'm actually almost out of this. I bought it from Walmart before the pandemic, and I have not been into Walmart since that. I actually haven't left my house very much at all. Not that I ever left my house a whole lot beforehand since I work from home. Besides, like, you know, grocery store trips and all of those, you know, fun shopping supply trips that I would take and stuff like that. And then of course my kids' extracurriculars, which of course have all been off since the pandemic, and we are slow to reopen here as well. I'm off camera just trying to stuff that in right now. Okay, it's in now. I'm really happy with that. And again, attaching that to the body and making sure that I've attached this cable tie really tightly. And now the last limb. Giving it a little tap to make sure all the glass goes into the fills the hand. I'm doing a test to make sure it's in there really well, and there's still a little too much glass in there. And go. So I filled it to about there, and now I'm filling it with polyfill. So yeah, I bought a few bags of polyfill from Amazon, which are also really soft, but this is the last of my really soft fluff. That's going to tide me over until everything sort of reopens here. The states that sort of reopened, a lot of you guys are probably in a state where you've reopened. Like one of my really good friends in North Carolina, she said they're at stage 2 of reopening. I don't even think we're like technically at stage 1 here. It's crazy how everything is so everyone's doing their own thing and no one really knows what to expect from this. It's back to that whole unprecedented time. Let me know in the comments below where your state is at currently, or where you're living, and what's happening there with your COVID, and if any of you are going stir crazy or anything as well. I'd love to hear from you. So now that her last arm is done, I'm securing it to her body with the cable tie. Again, you want to make sure you pull those so that they're really secure and that they won't come out of the body. And there's her little body. Now she's ready to actually be stuffed. But I'm going to cut the individual cable ties now with my nail scissors. So I'm getting as close to the base as possible with my nail scissors. That's what makes these little scissors so good. They're so strong, they're really sharp, and they allow you to get really close, like even closer than a normal pair of scissors would. Again, I'm getting really close in and then giving them a little cut and making sure that there's nothing sharp along the edge of it. I like to keep them out like this as opposed to tucking them into the body in case my client actually needs to pull the limb off or take the limb off, like cut the cable tie. It allows them easier access to do so. because it's sometimes really hard once you've tucked it in to actually get them off without damaging the cloth body. So if there's any need for that, it's very easy to be accessed, and then they're also really soft and smooth, like basically they're not even there. That is, for me, the most optimal way that I found works best when working with cable ties on your body. And now I like to prepare the polyfill, which is for the base of the body, which I like to do 2 little equal balls in the bum, and it gives sort of a round bum to the cloth body before putting in my glass weighting. There you go, you can see a nice little bum. And I try to make them exactly equal the size of them, sort of like a snowball almost, into the bum. And it's so nice this way. It's sort of in place of if you were wanting to do like silicone pellets or something, which they don't recommend against vinyl. Silicone and vinyl are completely different chemical structures, so it will damage your vinyl if you use silicone, which is why I've never transitioned to those silicone pellets. And I also don't like to use poly pellets because I find they're a little bit too plasticky. I really love the feel and the softness and snuggliness of the actual polyfill. And now I'm just cutting some of the pantyhose. As I mentioned, these are like knee-high pantyhose, and I like to cut them in half since they're very long. And then I like to double them up so that the larger glass beads that I'll be putting inside the body have no chance of leaking through the pantyhose. So I like to use the toe so that there aren't any bulges or anything like that. I use the top part of the pantyhose, which I tie into a knot to use inside the head. Again, all these little specific things that I do that I've kind of done for the last 6 years of reborning, sort of figuring out basically the way to make the baby the most realistic, snuggly, even for that stuff that sort of the client will never actually see. I'm sort of perfectionistic in that respect, that I like it to be basically just feel so soft and sort of realistic even inside the cloth body. So now I'm using those larger glass beads that I mentioned that I buy from McPherson Crafts. And again, McPherson's is awesome because they ship in North America, anywhere in North America, free if you order over $100. So every time I do like a larger order with them, I'll order some glass beads, and these will last me, I buy 10 pounds at a time. And I've been doing this since the beginning of my career as well. And with this, it's really an individualistic process. I like my babies on the heavier side, so I tend to use about 3 pounds in a, say, newborn size baby inside the actual body itself. As you can see when I'm pushing down, it's just to make space in the pantyhose so that it goes down into the body. And this allows me to not spill any glass as well. I'm so used to doing it that I don't even realize that I am doing it. When I'm rewatching this, I'm like, wow, I really pushed down a lot. Again, I'm just making space in the pantyhose because it does stretch out and fill as you go. And again, I don't want any coming out the top, and I want the baby to feel super heavy, very slumpy when finished. So I'm constantly assessing that as I go. And this is something very much that I sort of eyeball the glass beads as it goes in until I'm finally happy with how much I filled, and then I'll test the baby's weight and slumpiness and go from there. I can't get over how real her body and her limbs look, even just from this angle with no head. It looks like she's actually sitting there waiting. And there are a lot of artists that like to wait on the lighter side. That's never been my kind of thing. I like my babies to have a realistic weight to them. Again, every artist will weight differently. And even, preference by preference. Some people prefer a lighter baby. Others prefer a heavier one. I want it to really feel like an infant when it's snuggling in my arms, sort of thing. So now I'm testing the weight of it. It still feels a little on the light side for me, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I want that glass to kind of settle in so I have a little bit more space to put more glass in. And I don't want to fully fill her body up with glass because I want to have some polyfill go around the glass sack and give a really soft and squishy feel to her whole body, with the weight tucked really in between, inside. Now I'm giving her another feel, kind of assessing how she feels in my arms, and I am quite happy with that. So as you can see, guys, she has a lot of beautiful movement still. She has a slumpy feel. She's a good weight, and now I can tie the sack. I just give it a knot with both of the pantyhose liners. I like to tie them both up into a little knot and then take individual polyfill and start patting it around the sack of glass. So I'm slowly sort of inching it around the entire body. Layer on her front so I can do the back as well. And the nice part about this polyfill is it's so soft, it doesn't clump and it doesn't feel hard, or sometimes you get a sort of a polyester feel to polyfill. This feels like cottony. It feels so soft. Now I'm just checking her whole body. I really like her body, feeling it. Again, this is the point where I'm checking the movement, slumpiness, the realism that, you know, you'll feel when you're holding her and when you're looking at her sort of in close. Oh, I'm so happy with this. She's got such beautiful movement. And now she's ready for her little head to get weighted. Look at me, I'm waiting for my body, mama. Now I'm adding a little extra bit of polyfill at the top of the neck, and that way the head won't slump down too much when the head is finally attached. And again, if you're sort of new-ish to reborning, you might find that when you go to put it together, like, it looks perfect, but then you put the head on and it's sort of loose or empty at the top. Don't be afraid to actually just reopen it, thread in a new cable tie, and add a little bit more until you're sort of happy with where the head is sitting on the body. Again, this is sort of something that I've just, through trial and error, sort of gotten to the point where I know exactly what I should stuff and where and how much to, without ever really measuring it. So now for the head, I like to set the head up on the actual glass bead container, which actually has sort of, it's like a little round head holder. And this is where I'll take one of the other halves of the pantyhose that I've actually tied off and slip it inside and cup the sort of end of it around the neck, and that way it holds it in place while I'm actually filling with glass beads. And again, I'm using the larger glass beads for this and a little bit larger funnel. I found these funnels at the President's Choice ones, so I think I got them at Loblaws or something. Again, I never use anything for its original purpose. I use yamikins and for my paint pots, and little spice jars for my paint pots. The stuff and cosmetic sponges, of course. The life of a reborn artist is so much fun. So now I'm just adding glass, and again, I'm going to constantly reassess the weight of the head as well. And this is done before I ever add any polyfill to the head. And again, if you've got rooted hair, you want to make sure your glue is 100% sealed before actually adding glass beads. Otherwise, the pantyhose stocking will get stuck to the hair and potentially pull the hair out if there's ever a situation that arises where your client needs to remove the glass for any reason, they could damage the hair. So again, that's why it's really important. Again, this is all the stuff that your client will never see, but is super important. And now I like to situate the glass beads in the back of the head, sort of right at the back of the little noggin, and that gives a realistic sort of head slumpiness that a newborn would have, or a baby with no neck strength yet. And then I slowly fill the rest of the head up with polyfill. Now you want to be really extra cautious with this part. Make sure that you are not distorting the vinyl, especially if the sculpt is a softer vinyl sculpt. You can accidentally warp the vinyl or the face and make it look slightly distorted if you overfill. So I'm slowly sort of threading it into all those gap areas, never forcing it in where basically there's no polyfill space. And again, this will secure your glass in place so that it doesn't shift around inside the head, and fill the head so that it feels realistic. So I'm testing the forehead to make sure it feels firm, basically like a baby skull. So again, I'm feeling for all those little gaps where there needs to be a little bit more polyfill. So there's a little bit more space now left. I feel the head, it feels really good. I just need to fill a little bit more polyfill in the base of the head. And again, the nice part about this polyfill is it's really piecey, so that it doesn't actually get clumpy and then accidentally distort the face. You want the face to look identical to how it was when it was empty. And now she's ready for her body. This is my favorite part, you guys. This is the part where they become real. Oh my God, I love her so much already. So now I'm just tucking all that polyfill in. And again, making sure nothing is poking out while I'm actually tightening the cable tie. And again, I'm making sure it's very secure on her so that her head can't pop out. You don't want something like that happening where your baby gets home and in the box and their head is gone or something. That is a nightmare. So now I'm just grabbing her little nail scissors so that I can cut the end of her cable tie. So again, I'm getting as close to the clasp as possible so that I trim all the aspects of the plastic away. And again, just making sure that it is 100% as low as possible and giving it a couple rubs to make sure that it's not sharp or anything like that. So here she is, all complete, Miss Loulou. I am so happy with her. And now I'm getting my little poser out so I can show you guys her. I'm going to grab a muslin as well to put over my little poser. I love this one. I just got these from H&M. It's sort of like a dusty mauve or dusty rose color. It's so pretty. Also looks so beautiful in pictures. So here she is all ready. She's got her little magnetized pacifier, her hair bow, looking so beautiful, so much beautiful movement and floppiness. And now I want to show you guys her weight. So I like to do a little weight test as well so I know what to put on their birth certificates. Hanging out in here. So she is about 6 pounds 4 ounces for her birth certificate. And now I want to show you guys, there she is with her little belly plate, so detailed. As well as textured, really beautiful to match the rest of her. And again, she just looks so beautiful, all put together. Again, her little magnetized hair bow. And I moved her into this little seat. It's so cute. Magnetized for her pacifier. Oh. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me, and I'll see you next time. If you want more content just like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.